Hey y'all, thanks for coming out today. I can barely see y'all, so that's going to be okay, I guess. I'm also going to apologize for my voice. If your Thursday night was spent like mine, I was yelling at the TV a whole lot. So it might, high-pitched squeaks or something, so just look out for that. But before we really get started, I wanted to just ask a simple question. And like mentioned, I study industrial design here at NC State. And how many of us here in the audience, just by show of hands, studied design here at State? Okay, got a few. Not too many, and that's okay. And I believe that design is the framework to how we live. Design is the framework to our life. It's all around us. It can be seen. And framework is, I guess, the basis, kind of like water is to life. It's the basis of how we live. We may not know it. For example, I did not know what industrial design was for, up until the year before I applied to come here to college. I'd always loved to create. I'd always loved to build, to make things with my hands, and just to have an end product, just to make something. And my dad, he was like, wow, you should really check out industrial design. I was like, wow, what's that? I didn't even know I'd been designing, the whole time. So design to me is a very purposeful experience. It's also a journey. That's how it, I guess, ties in with this talk. But design, again, is the framework. And so this is, I guess, to seek to expose what really design is. Now, design is very purposeful. It is to get you from a point A to a point B. Just, for example, if you were in Chapel Hill and for whatever reason you wanted to get the heck out of there and come over here to NC State, you would need to find a way, whether that was a car, a train, a bus, or walking if you really wanted to. You have to get from point A to point B. Now, however you go about doing that, whether you ask a friend to drive you, if you buy a train ticket, you are constructing your trip from, again, point A to point B. And design is that same process. Design is seeing something that is needed in the world. It is seeing a product or something that needs to be developed, and it's that process that gets you through that whole journey. Take example for a chair. You're all sitting in chairs, and chairs always look different. You can see that out in Talley Student Center. But initially, whether it was very primitive, back in prehistoric times, a chair might have started out as a rock, might have started out as a log, but someone somewhere realized that there needed to be something you could sit in, that you could move from one place to another, whether that was in a cave to a campfire, and they wanted to, for lack of better words, design something to accomplish that need. They saw the need and they wanted to accomplish it. So over multiple years, hundreds, thousands of years, the chair has developed probably from, again, a rock or a stump into what it is today, with a back, with feet that prevent you from falling over when sitting down. And so design is very purposeful. Design is also very unintentional. It has sort of randomness about it. For example, in this audience today, we knew that there were going to be a certain number of people here. We knew that people are going to come out to listen to others talk about their lives, about their experiences, about what they have learned. But what we did not know is where each person would be sitting. I do not know where, say for example, person A would sit in this audience. That is random. So there's a set order to everything, but when the people filter in, that's the randomness part. But the end result is the audience. The audience is here. Now, back in the 60s, there was a little-known company. It was called 3M, and there was a man, I think his name was Dr. Silver, but he sought out to create this very sticky, very tactile, very adhesive substance. And it was to be something like, Duco cement or some type of super glue like we have today. And he didn't fail in the end result, but to get, his point B, his end destination, he was never able to get to it. He would put all these chemical compounds together, and day after day, work after work day, he would, quote, fail and not have the end result that he wanted to have. Now one day, this happened again, he was familiar with it, and he came back in to work, his work laboratory the next day. He realized that the substance he had thrown away was still sticky, but he could apply it to any object, any surface, any flat place for any length of time that he wished, and it would still retain its stickiness, but he could remove it whenever he wanted to. And he showed it to his higher-ups, to his bosses, and they didn't latch on to the idea initially, but eventually that weird sticky substance became the Post-it note as we know it today. And so the Post-it note was not sought out to be designed. No one said, I want to design something that can stick on a wall and you can take it off whenever you want. No one sought out to design something that you could put short ideas on to practice for a test or something. But the point B, the destination that they were looking for was the destination they were looking for was a very sticky compound, which eventually, they discovered, they developed products for that. But the Post-it note came out of that randomness. So again, design is a framework. Design sometimes is very set and very intentional, very purposeful, but it also has these happy accidents, as we can call them, the serendipitous opportunities that can produce products along this process. It's like a spin-off. Now, design is also very fluid, as you can tell. It permeates our lives in multiple aspects, and one example where I see that is music. To us, music is an art form. Musicians, artists, composers create different works, and to each of us here in the room, I'm sure there is a certain song or a certain maybe symphony or something that conjures up some feeling within us. And that is exactly what that artist or that composer wants to do, is they have something working inside them that they want to get a meaning out to the world. They want to express something. Now, music itself, a song, is composed of notes, it's composed of lyrics, it's composed of multiple little things that create the end result, that create that song. And even though we look at it as something that's an artistic representation, it's actually designed. And they may not say, oh, I'm designing a song, but the process itself is a design. The end result is a design. So you can see how design is not just a noun, but it's also a verb. It's the holistic picture of the thing. Last example I want to give is us as humans. We are designed. Our ears hear sounds in our environment. Our eyes see sight and light in our environment. And our noses smell, our mouths taste, and like our teeth chew. So that is how we interact with the environment around us. That is how we respond to stimuluses. That is how we process things. And those are more accessory things to being alive. But even your heart is designed to pump blood through you to keep nutrients going to all parts of your body so that you can live. Same with your lungs. Takes in oxygen, puts out carbon dioxide so that you can be alive. So in a sense, us humans are all designed too. But we have always been here, and there wasn't like a set process of this is design. It just happens. So design is it's just a very fluid process all the way through. Now, so that pretty much sums up what I am saying, but each of us, to get back to the initial question that I asked, design is very purposeful, and we study, whatever major or curriculum that we are pursuing here at NC State, or even in different universities across the state, across the country, across the world. You are studying something to go out into the world and change it or interact with it or just have a job for yourself. But, if you're in engineering, it's a very calculative and mathematical way of interacting with the world. If you're in education, you want to pass on knowledge to future generations. That is a system that is designed. And again, you may not say that this is designed, but it is. It's just the process of it. So design is not just like the College of Design. Design is not just a major like industrial design. In a year, I will graduate with, or I hope to graduate, with a degree in industrial design. It will say design on that piece of paper, same as architecture, same as landscape architecture, graphic design, and a few other majors around the school. But that doesn't mean that design is limited to me. That doesn't mean that that I don't design more than you or that I design less than you. We all have thoughts, we all interact with our world, and we all respond to different, events and stimuluses. It is a very intentional process with an end product. We are all designers. Thank you.